Good morning. 1 minute till not morning. I just got back from town. I had to run a bunch of errands, and one of the things that I wanted to do today is try to save my ferments. I have 3 sauerkrauts that I do not believe had enough brine, and if they did, they've kind of come out a little bit. I've been burping them. You can tell that they're very active. But I've been burping those, and then of course not this one because it has that. But they're drying up, and I am very, very sad, and I want to try to fix them. But also, the carrots, they were jam-packed down in here, and I thought that just the fact that they were jam-packed would keep them down below the brine. That is not the case. So we need to weigh all of them down, make sure that they are all covered in liquid, and see if we can save our ferments. I went to town originally to get some pickling pucks because I only have 1 pickling puck, and it's being used in a different ferment in the other room. That one's a sauerkraut with jalapenos in it. So I went to town to try to get some, but they only had the small size. I went to a few different stores. I live on an island, and so our selection is not always fantastic. We are very limited due to shipping processes. So these little guys might work for our 2 sauerkrauts with the regular mouth, but we'll see. So I want to open these up and see if we can save them. I figured I would show you guys what I'm doing here because I can't be the only one trying to make good ferments and just a little unsure of situations sometimes. So I thought we would do it together. So before you go touching any of your ferments, make sure that your hands are nice and clean. My goal here is to make sure that they are completely submerged. It looks like it pretty much is already. Very bubbly down there. Very bubbly indeed. Okay. So wash your pickling puck. I don't know how much weight this pickling puck actually has. I've never used one intended for a smallmouth. I don't know if it's actually going to do any good. But by opening it up, this was done on the 10th. Today is the 19th, something like that. So we'll just call that good, because now that I've opened it, I have the reassurance that it is indeed submerged. It actually does still have a lot of its liquid, so I'm way less worried about it. But I put the pickling puck in there just in case. I'm going to put the lid back on, continue to burp it for a little while until the gases kind of settle down, which shouldn't be that much longer, to be honest. This one's a little bit fuller. I think it'll be okay. Put our new little weight in there. Yep, I think we're pretty good, honestly. Just enough liquid in there. Even if I do feel better about just knowing that they do have liquid in them, at least I got to use the pickling pucks that I just bought. This one, I can visually see that we're gonna need to do something about it because there's no liquid up here in the top. So I'm gonna push it down and see what happens, just like I did with those. I might need to add some more brine, which I kinda don't wanna do because it will slow down the fermentation process that's already begun. But I will if necessary. But maybe if we push it down, see where we're at. Maybe I could get away with maybe putting new brine into a plastic baggie just to weigh it down instead of actually adding more brine to it. We'll see. Like I said, we're in this together. It's a journey we're on, you and I. There's still a really good amount of liquid in here. This one, because it had so much headspace, and also because I had the nipple, this thing, I know it didn't lose much liquid at all. Not at all. The other two I had lost liquid because when I was burping it, it would kind of explode out each time. You know what? Kind of don't even want to bother, because if I just keep pushing it down for a few more days, I think that bubbling process is going to stop. So I'm going to just go ahead and leave it for now. I'm just going to leave it for now. I'll just maybe push it down a few more times. Well, I certainly feel a lot better about the sauerkraut. That would make me very sad if I just spoiled 2 heads of cabbage. That would be sad. I can't grow cabbage here. Well, I suppose if I was really diligent about it and I tried pretty hard, I might be able to, but I haven't done that. So let's check on our carrots. I know that these have not lost any liquid coming out onto the counters. I just know that. And when I packed them in, like I said, I thought that they were so hardcore jam-packed in there that they would just stay stuck. But I was completely wrong. Completely wrong. They have shrunk. And so now they're just floating around in there willy-nilly. Calm yeast on the top. It doesn't look like mold at all to me. I don't even know if I'm going to bother scraping that off because it's a very little amount. But I do need to make sure somehow that they are submerged. But man, they shrunk a lot. A lot. I have an idea. I've seen other people do this, including my sister Anna over at the Fermented Homestead, which is where I've gotten the majority of the small amount of fermenting knowledge that I have. I'm going to weigh it down with onion slices. It's kind of the same principle of how you would take the large pieces of cabbage, set them aside, keep them to put on top later. I'm going to do that with an onion slice. Yes, it will change the flavor. I don't know how much, but we're going to try it out. Ooh, I'm going to get the third jar of carrots. Looks just the same as the others. No mold, no funny colors, just calm yeast. Should we taste one of these? Ooh, I think we should. Maybe they don't even need to ferment for any longer than that. They need longer. Cutting it this way so that I can get that larger piece with that shape. See what we can do with these. I have to let the air come out. Don't want no air in there. That I think is really gonna work, at least until the onion comes pretty soft. I think it'll work. Yeah. Neat. Because we need this all to be submerged. No air allowed. Perhaps I wouldn't be in this position now if I would have put these onions or, you know, a cabbage leaf or something on top. I just wasn't anticipating them shrinking and floating. But now we know. Moral of the story, don't allow your ferments to fool you. They will shrink and float. All right, so now that we have done our troubleshooting, I'm pretty excited about that. I'm very excited and I'm very pleased. I was kind of afraid of what we would find because I knew yesterday that the liquid was what I thought running low, but it really wasn't. So neat. Next on our list of things that we want to do today, I want to take you along and show you my new bottles. Back in Fermented February, I posted a video about making ginger beer. And ever since then, my sweetheart has been adoring the ginger beer. And so I went to town. Hold on, let's go get those bottles. He's been loving the ginger beer. And so he ran out of the second batch that I made. I've been making them in just regular old kombucha bottles that I get from the store when I buy kombucha. I was reusing those, which worked fine. However, this ginger beer is really, really, really carbonated. And so I was constantly worried that I would have issues. And so he ordered what are now going to be referred to in this house as ginger beer bottles. I went in town, I went all around in town and tried to find these bottles locally. Buying local is always preferred, especially when you live on an island. But there's a reason why there's a term that people say, priced out of paradise. I don't know if you guys saw, I think the only time I saw that like on a really big thing was there was a man from Hawaii on American Idol last year, and he made reference to that. Priced out of paradise. So my point in saying that is I found some flip top bottles here in town. They were $45 a piece, empty. So that wasn't gonna work. That wasn't gonna work for us at all. They were $45 a piece, so Scott ordered them off of Amazon. Now that we have our bottles, today we're gonna make more ginger beer. I think I have it on backwards. Ugh. That's a hard seal, holy moly. A little update on my ginger bug. Still going strong. It's burping at me. It's ready. I'm pretty stoked about this. So I'm just gonna get this cleaned up, get ready for our ginger beer. I just want to make sure that I'm able to show you guys what I've got going on in the fermenting world today. So I'll bring you right back when it's time to fill up these cool bottles. Fun fact of the day. If you didn't know, I live in Hawaii, so I live on an island. And in order to have things shipped, it is quite an issue, honestly. Sorry, the cost of these just kind of got my brain going a little bit on this issue, honestly. So we can well expect most things, if you find it online or like in a mainland store, it is likely to cost twice that amount by the time it gets into the store over here. Oh, that's backwards again, isn't it? Dang. But by the time it gets here, it's double the price. That's the usual thing that you can count on. Did you know? Did you know that it costs $8,000? It costs $8,000 to send a shipping container from the mainland, California, to here. So all the stores that are here, Walmart, Target, Tractor Supply, all these stores, they pay $8,000 for the container to be shipped. That does not include the price of the merchandise inside of the container. And a lot of times, don't know if you could imagine, but the merchandise that's inside the container might not even exceed $8,000. Isn't that crazy? How did I do this? The opposite way that I want to do it, that's how. That's a snug fit. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that with it full of liquid. I am not trying to complain because I live in a beautiful place surrounded by beautiful people. As much as we'd like to buy locally, sometimes we just can't. 3 down, 9 to go. Well, I've got the ginger done. It simmered for its 5 to 8 minutes, and now I need to wait for it to come down to room temperature before we can bottle it up. So I was just snooping around in my kitchen and decided it's time to feed the sourdough. I got this sourdough really, I don't know, we're talking about ferments today, aren't we? We're talking about ferments. I got this sourdough pretty darn strong over time, and so now I'm pretty excited about it, and I have the option to skip feedings, and it still comes back just as strong every single time. That's very exciting. I'm feeding a 1:1 ratio still, as I have been before. I'm staying pretty steady at 200 grams of each, the sourdough starter, flour, and water. Sorry, there's a helicopter flying above. I had a question on one of my comments on a video recently about where to get this organic flour. I got it from Costco. It is relatively inexpensive for me. One thing I can say about feeding my sourdough at 1:30 in the afternoon, that ensures that there's no chance I will be making bread tomorrow. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, or if it matters, but I won't be making bread tomorrow because I won't have an active starter. It'll be active in the middle of the night. Apparently it's nap time around here. Oh, he woke up. What are you doing, Sparky Barky? What are you doing? Come here. Guess I just came out here to check the dog. I realized I have a sweet basil that needs a new home. While we're waiting for our ginger beer to cool down, figured it might be a good time to put this in the ground. A rosemary that we planted several weeks back is doing pretty darn well right here. Now let's find a home for the basil. Okay, it has been enough time. It has cooled down, so now I gotta strain it out. I'm gonna use this fine mesh rather than a cheesecloth, just because that's what I feel like right now. If you're curious about how to make ginger beer in more detail, I do have a video about that was posted for Fermented February, so you can check that out. This is not a detailed instruction. I don't want to kill the good bugs that we've created in there, and that's why we have to wait for the mixture to come down to room temperature before we add that in there, because the heat will kill it. So, and that goes with any fermentation, honestly. That's essentially kind of what pasteurizing is. In theory, don't come after me. You're heating your item, milk or whatever it is, to the point where you're killing all the bad bacteria, but you're also killing all the good bacteria. And that's not what we are about right now. Not today. Not today. Lemon juice, optional. But now it is time to try out our new bottles. We need to leave 2 inches of head space. I think about to the neck is probably gonna be fine. That should do. Yay. All right. Now we're just gonna leave these out at room temperature and let them continue to ferment. These are kind of difficult to get on there a little bit. Here we go, all stored away. So we're gonna leave these out at room temperature for 5, 6, 7 days, and then we will put them in the fridge, and hopefully they will be nice and bubbly and ready for Scott to enjoy. Well, we finished everything we need to do. Now it's getting towards the end of the day. Let's go feed the chickens. I had to make a little stop in the garden and just check it out because it is such a beautiful evening. It gets me excited. One more thing that I did work on yesterday. It's bright. I got these 2 beds cleared out. It looks atrocious right now. These 2 beds have been overgrown and a disaster for quite a while. And yesterday and the day before I got them cleared out finally. All of this nasty grass is horrible. So I got these planted out with beans. The same purple beans as we planted down there, which I have been harvesting off of lately, and they are awesome. They're purple, but when you cook them, they turn green. It is such a beautiful day. We have been having a lot of rain lately, so this sunshine is welcomed. Our chicks got a new home. They got bigger. Let me show you. In here, we just have 2 little guys. Of course we did. It's chick days at Tractor Supply. At the beginning of chick days, I grabbed some mate birds because we really enjoyed having them last year. So we decided to do it again. I got 10. One of them didn't make it, so I have 9. Plus, I ended up getting, what did I get? I got lavender Orpingtons, 2 of them. I got 1 cuckoo Moran and 2 majestic midnight Morans. So those guys are all in here now. This is the first time since their coop was built that this room has actually been utilized. Hello. So they have plenty of ventilation, they have roosts that they can get up on, food and water, and lots of room to run around. First things first, we're going to go ahead and give the chickens their treats. If you haven't checked out Grubterra already, make sure you check the link down below. There is a link along with a discount code for you guys. You're going to get 10% off. So if you haven't checked them out already, do that. And this is your reminder to refill your chicken treats. They must be running low by now. One thing to keep in mind about these guys, you're not just giving your chickens a treat. It's dark. Wow. Hey, you're not just giving your chickens treats like Cinnamon Toast Crunch or Doritos or some junk. This is actually really healthy. It is dead, dried bugs. Super high in protein, gonna give them all the things that they need in addition to a good diet, and you're going to see an improvement in your eggs. So make sure you refill your, check the link down below. Check the link. While we are talking about fermentation today, I do want to tell you guys that I am still very stoked on fermenting my chicken's feed. I've been doing it for several months now, and honestly, it's really great. We have way too many eggs. You might have seen that we have, I don't know, like 6 or so dozen sitting on the table. That is after we sold 15 dozen eggs today, and we've been trying to sell 15 dozen like every week because we'll get 2 dozen eggs every day, and then and then they just build up so fast. So not only are we consuming any amount of eggs that we could possibly want, we are also selling them. And that has to do with the treats, the high protein, and the fermented feed. It is doing really, really well for us. We did slaughter 2 of our, what we think are white Jersey giants a couple days ago. Got those in the pot, made a bunch of broth off of that. We're going to do maybe 5 more, but they're prime laying right now at their age, so I'm not entirely sure. We have way more eggs than we know what to do with, so I don't know. My eggs. Thank you. Go eat your snacks. Well, that's all we need to do for today, you guys. We've got everything wrapped up here in the chicken coop, and all of our ferments for today are all done and happy. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Hamakua Homestead. I'll see you again soon.